Hi there. So, when I first came into Genius Hour, I really didn't have many expectations. I had heard of Genius Hour projects before, and I've learned about the benefits of student-based inquiry. But when students are interested in what they're learning, they're often able to remember what they have learned and are a lot more engaged within their learning. I found it very interesting learning about how Google and their employees are given time for their own Genius Hours. The projects that came out of this employee investigation time are amazing, and it seems to prove that Genius Hour can really benefit not only students, but anyone who's interested in learning and developing their knowledge. When beginning thinking about my own Genius Hour, I at first thought I would do something I'm interested in, such as cooking or yoga. However, after looking at the time I actually had available to choose to do something I had to do anyways, which was to train my puppy. Looking back now, I wish I would have done something a little more fun, but in reality, I didn't really have time during this program. If we would have done this any other year, I think I could have really benefited from this activity. However, to me, Genius Hour seemed a little more like extra work than a learning opportunity. I think the other aspect that plays into this is that in reality, Genius Hour does not take an hour. Research and doing an activity might take an hour, but recording and dealing with the technological issues takes an additional hour. However, I did learn quite a bit about training a dog. When doing research, I found that I was surprised each week by the various steps you take to train a dog. There's a lot of little things that I would have never really considered. For example, for sit, I had always thought that you just offer a treat and say sit and push the dog's butt down to sit in the first few times so that they get the idea. But there are also techniques that allow for training that does not have you touch your dog, but instead nonverbal cues that will force them to sit. This would be holding the treat over the back of their head, which forces them to sit so that you aren't forcing them physically. There are also various other things I learned about how to specifically train for different demands. The one thing that I learned overall, however, was that training takes time and consistency. This was my biggest struggle, as with smaller dogs this is especially important. Gracie seemed to learn a command such as sit, but then forget it 2 days later if I had not practiced it. Eventually sit was something that she learned effectively and is still a command she knows. However, this seemed to be her threshold for learning commands. After sit, the other 3 commands of come, stay, and give seemed to be extremely hard for her to understand. She has learned to give with her toy Kong, but not with any other object. The goal of give was so that if she ate something she wasn't supposed to, she would give it to me. That didn't happen. It seems like this is not something she'll ever accomplish, as she goes crazy and swallows the objects whole as quick as possible when I try to get it out of her mouth. Come and stay were also failures. I think she is just a very stubborn dog and doesn't see me as a person of authority. I researched this as well, and everything I read said it was important to act like a pack leader, which involves being firm in commands and being consistent with rules, as well as things like not letting them sleep with you and not letting them on furniture or jumping up and biting you. I sleep with Gracie every night and let her do pretty much whatever she wants, so I guess it's my own fault. But she's so cute, I just can't help it. So I did test this out. My boyfriend visits on weekends, and he's a lot more firm with her. So I had him try training her to come and stay, and he was still not really able to either. He, however, was easily able to get her to sit and give on the first command, so that was kind of interesting. Overall, it was interesting to learn the new information about training that I probably wouldn't have researched otherwise. I don't really think that I would use the majority of it, as I've kind of given up on training, as I don't really have any time right now. Since she is so small, she also cannot go outside already since it's too cold for her. This kind of makes it easier for me, so the commands were only really an issue for when we were outside, so she doesn't need to be as trained as an inside dog. As she has also gotten fleas within the last month, which has been a huge struggle to control. I don't think I'm ever really going to let her outside again. and she's happier inside, so I think we both benefit from that anyways. But that's a summary of my Genius Hour, and it was fun, and she learned to sit, so yeah.